Hey everybody, it's Chris. Tonight we're going to be looking at the Westside Discs adder, their new long range over stable disc with flight numbers 13504. There you go, sorry. Now those numbers did make me think that maybe I wouldn't be able to review this disc very well for you. My arm is just not where it used to be a couple of years ago. I'm not throwing the long stuff as well, and especially the overstable long stuff as well. So I did bring in a local, Colin Wise, to do some more throwing. Colin has more arm speed than I do. He has a little bit more ability to manipulate a fast overstable disc. So you're going to see me throw the disc a few times, and I am going to give you my impressions of it. But you're going to see more from Colin, just because you can get more flight characteristics that way, so you can see a little bit more. In this video, you have a few comparison discs. You're going to see a little bit of the Giant, some of the Warhorse, and probably the main comparison disc for me is this Lucid Moonshine Metal Flake Defender. These are a special run, really super overstable defenders. Like, take your most overstable defender, add a notch to it. That's probably where this is. And the adder, I thought, actually compared very favorably to that. Now with numbers 13504, I was expecting this just to be straight meat hook. Get to the ground fast, not be able to do anything with it. So I was actually pleasantly surprised when the first couple times I saw Colin throw it, it either stood up or turned out a little bit and cruised forward before fading really hard. And it does have a hard fade, so especially if you're a slower arm or just you don't throw very far, this is going to be straight meat hook. But if you have distance, say if you're throwing 375 plus, you're probably going to get at least a little bit of straight flight, and especially if you flex the disc, you're going to be able to get a little bit of turn before that really hard fade. And I say really hard fade, it's not going to just dump out of the ground like a stiletto might or a triple X type disc is going to. Instead, you're going to see more of a panning fade. One of the videos, and I'm going to comment on it, is actually that overstability is there, but also that straight flight is there as well. Colin flexed these discs really hard on one of his first few throws, and one of the discs never actually even got back to flat before it hit the ground at 340. Now, a very overstable disc getting 340 for me is pretty exciting, and you'll see how far I actually got these when I was throwing them full power. So these are going to be a little more accessible, especially if you throw over 350 feet. They might be usable for you as a long-range overdrive or overstable driver option. Under that, they're going to be a meat hook for sure. And if you throw really long, these are probably going to be a really nice distance flex disc for you. So that said, I'm going to go to the video so you can see some of the shots. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below so I can get back to you. As always, thanks for watching. Oh, before I forget, 2.2 centimeter rim, so actually very comfortable in the hand. It's 13 speed, but it's 2.2, so then the rim's a little bit narrower than a lot of the overstable or the high-speed stuff in the Trilogy lineup. So 2.2 centimeter rim, beautiful disc. You're going to see some nice flights out of it, especially from Colin. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll go to the video now. Thanks. Out to the field we go. This is after watching Colin throw. Just a little bit of flex on the disc, right out to around 335, 340. I was actually really impressed with how smooth this disc was throwing the first time. And here is Colin. I'll put some of Colin's stats up and link a video that he was in last year so you guys can see him throw a little bit more. But you can see here this is just like a 75-80% pull with the adder and the defender. Very similar lines. They came out just a slightly different angle, but you can see very similar flights. And here is the promised Giant. As you can see, it started more right, but it also stays more right. It's just a longer disc in general. I think the Giant ended about 380 on this, whereas the adder was like 335, 340. The Giant's just a much straighter disc on this comparison. And then the other side of the game, of the spectrum, here's adder versus Warhorse. You can see the Warhorse is dipped down and is probably going to be like 30 feet short of the, maybe 20 feet short, sorry, of the adder on this throw. These are lower power. Here we're going to put a lot of flex on the disc. Colin's going to put a lot of flex on the disc anyway. You can see the adder holding that beautiful line. The defender's a little bit lower on that line drive, so it's not going to be able to flex back quite as well. It ends up about 15 feet short of the adder because of that, but very similar flight lines. Here, Colin really turned over this adder. You're going to see it actually, it flexes to the ground and actually just starts to fade back, whereas the Warhorse stands up and fades out really early. But the adder did straighten out even with that extreme turn. It just took it to the ground.
Well, my impression so far is that it's, I don't know, it seems like it fades pretty good, but like...
It's more straight line.
Yeah, it doesn't fight out aggressively because it wasn't coming out of an ante very fast. So it'd be, yeah, like maybe good to throw flat into a headwind with.
Yep. Since I did forget to interview Colin, I thought I'd put those quick thoughts that he put in there. And I do tend to agree with them. I think this will be a fantastic wind fighting disc. I do think it'll be a really good distance driver if you want to flex the disc for sure. You're going to get a lot of distance out of it that way. Think of it as a Defender or Gladiator, or insert other long-range distance driver that has decent overstability, ratchet it up a couple notches on the stability factor, maybe more than a few. Now these next two shots, the Spike Kaiser here, look at the plane of Colin's shoulders. And this one on the roller coming up, you're going to see that the release angle of the disc in the air is mirrored by Colin's shoulders. If you are a newer player to the game, or if you're trying to work on shots like this, that is one of the keys to that. You can see the plane of his shoulders is he's rotating his body and shifting his shoulders to match the angle he wants to release the disc on. And that roller, if it caught its face, I'm sure would have gone at least another 100 feet. It was pretty disappointing it never did, but it's a very overstable disc, hard to roll. Now we'll go to me in the field. Forgive me for the form. Between that and my hands, throwing hasn't been easy. That said, the adder actually flew a lot better than I thought it would. I was glad that I watched Colin throw him. I had a little more confidence because of that. As you can see here, adder and defender, this very overstable defender. It's not a normal run defender. Pretty similar results. As opposed to the Warhorse here, which I actually tipped more than the adder and is going to be about 25-30 feet short and almost go in that horrible rough bramble patch over there. So the Warhorse is still going to be that super overstable disc you're looking for, whereas the adder is going to be great wind fighter, but still able to manipulate disc. This is for lower arm speeds. I know that people that throw over 500 feet, game's going to be completely different, but I'm talking like if you throw over 350, you should be able to do something with the adder. And here's that comparison to the Giant. I tipped the Giant here to about 395. As you can see, it's just a lot more straight line before fading. That's one of my best throws of the year. It's just a much straighter disc than the adder or that super overstable glow defender. To recap, the adder is the Westside Discs' newest long-range overstable driver. It's a 13 speed with a 2.2 centimeter rim, making it pretty comfortable in the hand. I think if you throw over 350, you'll be able to do a little bit more with this disc than you might expect. Under 350, it'll be a meat hook, but it is a 13 speed, so that's kind of expected. As always, if you like this video, please feel free to like it, share it, or subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.